Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, to this holy circle of light, the infinite light of being that we celebrate every day together. It's so holy to come together and see how much power we have as divine beings, and to celebrate that together, to see that we're only here to celebrate, and to thank our brother for bringing all the places where we deny ourselves to our attention. This is honoring ourselves, actually, accepting these gifts that the brother brings in this holy light. And to start with the light first, the power of starting with who we are. What could be more powerful than infinite light and the light of divine being in honesty of God? Is there anything more powerful than this infinite light? Can we find anything more powerful than infinite light? Divine infinity. And is there anything more holy in this life than looking together to see what's true? To see whether any thought, feeling, or emotion can define us. Jesus, I'm placing any thought of limitation in the light. This light I share with my infinite brothers who are God. Every thought, feeling, emotion, can any thought, feeling, or emotion stand in the light of the divine being, the light that we are? Can anything arising in consciousness be more powerful than this infinite light that we are, that's here in our direct experience? Is anything more powerful than the voice, this voice within that guides us and tells us of who we are? Will we make those thoughts of limitations tell us who we are? Can we find a thought or feeling, emotion that's more powerful and of greater value than this infinite light that we see here? That's always with us. Yes, these things may play for a while, but in the light of divine being, can they survive the light for long? Jesus has already told us this is a required course. In the light of divine being and infinite light, is this a required course? Your thoughts. And is only the time we take optional? Yet even if that's optional, does that change divine light? Is there a single thing that we can do to change the light being here? Is there one thing this body can do? Is there one movement that would change this infinite light? One flicker, one thought. So we look, lesson 233. Yeah. Although I'm seeing the lessons are nonstop all day long. As soon as we say, okay, Jesus, I want the light, then he'll keep delivering them. So lesson 233. And then in lesson 233, I'm realizing there are about 150 lessons in there in a way. Like there's only one lesson. Let's see this in the light of divine being. I give my life to God to guide today. Are there any denials? Jesus, show me any denials that I would deny giving my life to God today. And can I at least see the humor in it that he already has my life? I can't be apart from infinite light. Is it possible to have a life? It is possible to perceive through perception, to dream as though we're not guided. In truth and the honesty of being, are we always guided by God? Is there another way? Yet when we really resonate, I could see the God's, is the light coming and going, you have to give your life to me? Does it say that? I mean, we're already his, the humor. Here's the humor. We're already his. But yet is the light saying, okay, you have to give your life to me today? It doesn't move like that. It just is. So must we accept giving our life to him? And hear that, hear the divine being. Is it necessary for us to give our life to God if we want peace? Well, we want it both ways. We want the world and we want the peace of God. We want choice and we want peace of God. Is this possible in the light of divine being? Is it possible to have choice and saying no to God and have peace? Is it possible to have peace without giving our lives to God? Is it possible to have supreme happiness and without giving everything to God, back to God? He already has everything. But if we believe he's taken it from us in some way, then that will be our experience. So in giving everything on the altar, giving all these, placing all the judgments on the altar to see what's true, we give ourselves back to God. Jesus said this is the way of earning, because we're so used to earning. Going to work and earning. So even awakening becomes a microcosm of work. Yet in the light of divine being, having to work for something. Yet in the light of divine being, do we have to work for anything to be divine? This is the great paradox. We already are divine, yet through the plane consciousness, we need the help of forgiveness. Father, I give you all my thoughts today. Is there any reason, Jesus, show me any reason why I would not give my thoughts to you today? Anything below my level of awareness where I would say no to giving every thought to you? He says it's natural. It's actually what's natural. The unnatural is to withhold thoughts from ourselves below our level of awareness, and then to play them out through pictures and dreams. This is where miracles are natural and just change in perception. It's like automatic. Yet until that time, it's just helpful to be humble and ask for help. To be the lamb that follows the Lord. To join the flock that follows so unerringly the shepherd. The shepherd's leading us back to infinite source. I would have none of mine. Jesus, will you show me a desire to have thoughts that are not of God? In the light of divine being, I'm willing to see. Any wanting, that itch for thoughts. The itch for thoughts to tell me who I am. The itch for thoughts to seem to obscure the unobscurable infinite light. The thoughts that would deny everything's always available, all of the divine power, every creation? Can a thought obscure creation? That we are creators, we're God's creators, we're co-creators. In the light of divine being, are we co-creators? Would we cease to co-create with God for a thought? Is that valuable? We can look and see if that's really valuable. It's helpful to see if a thought is as valuable as true creation, infinite light. We were confused through our desire for that experience, still innocent. Does the light hold any big stick to the ones who think? Thinking is its own Zen stick. Is thinking a Zen stick? Yes. Thinking that's not of God, because do thoughts of God hurt? Can we find any hurt in a single thought of God, in a single lesson? I give my life to God today. Is there something wicked in this? Because that's really the belief of the thought system that's upside down, that believing this thought is death. That's how upside down. Maybe it's helpful to look at it directly. I give my life to God today. Is there any belief or desire to experience that sentence as death? That's why we wouldn't give our life over to God today. It's because we would consider this sentence, a thought of God, to be death. That's the upside down. So let's look at that directly and see if there's any energetic, like if I give my life to, any kind of tightening, I give my life to God. What will that mean? Kind of. Can we feel any energy around that? Oh, that's not sound so good, that life to God thing. Just really be present. The itch not to give our lives to God, it's really present. Don't want it, don't want it. Let that arise up. Oh. And fully, we'll place that in the light together because we have the power to do so. So that together, the infinite power of who we are just burns out those untruths. We can see that. Jesus is standing there with his palms open, accepting every thought not of God to be purified. Every thought that would make, I give my life to God today, to be something that we want to have any kind of little exceptions, any kind of little sideways. I'll give everything to God except the Maserati out in front. Jesus, will you show me any desires to make any exceptions on I give my life to God today? Anything I'm really, really don't want to look at, I'm willing to look at. Anything that's deep down in there that I would rather not see, I'm still willing to see it in the light of divine being. Because I see that it denies the kingdom of heavens today, actually. All the power, all the peace, all the happiness, supreme happiness, no illness, never having to give another thought to getting ill. How about that? That's worth celebrating just there. Just that acceptance. I give my life to God today. Giving our life to God means no future, no past. Celebration of divinity all day long. In place of them, I give me your own thoughts. I give myself your thoughts, God. Is there any denial or acceptance of all the thoughts of God? I place any desire for any thoughts other than God's in the light of the divine being. I give you all my acts as well. Any kind of tension coming up over that? Put that in the divine light. Oh, what do you mean if God controls everything I do? What's that going to mean? Any thoughts like that, we'll just place that so gently in the light. Just like we don't know what God's going to ask us to do. We act like we do. Can we really know in the divine light of being what we'll be asked to do and that it's going to be a problem? The ego is going to assume that's a problem to do everything God would will for us. Let's just see what's true about that. Is that an idea? It's actually a future. It's a desire to keep a doer. Has it been so great being a doer? That's a good question. In the light of divine being and doing things and just kind of going through the motions, it's like being dead all the time. How do we know that turning everything over to God to do his will is going to be a bad thing? Who's saying that? Let's find the voice that's saying, oh, I reckon, yeah, I'm going to be restricted from doing something I want to do. Whose voice is speaking? Let's find that one. Jesus, I place any doubt thoughts that I have, any tensions when I hear this sentence. All my acts as well. Any doubt thoughts, place in supreme being, supreme light. Any assumptions that, oh, that's going to be bad. Any little niggling thoughts. That's the upside down view that doing God's will is death. That's why we try and not do God's will, because we believe it's life. So let's look at that honesty of God. Is doing God's will death in the honesty of God? That I may do your will instead of seeking goals which cannot be obtained. Jesus, will you show me desires for goals that cannot be obtained? Any goal that cannot be obtained that I'm wanting, like that little itch for unattainable goals, which is trying to get salvation through anything of this world. Can you show me? Will you? Lovingly, so I can place it in this holy light with my brothers. To see this anew and fresh in the light of divine being, lit by God's light, holy light, everything, that every movement in celebration of him is all that's desired. And wasting time in vain imaginings. Jesus, can you show me any vain imaginings lately that I can turn over to the light? I'm willing. And see in the light of divine being. Any little storylines about my brothers lately? I'm willing to see those. Which is only a little storyline about lack and faith in myself. Jesus says we really have to look at how unhappy we are as anything other than God's will, because we still, as long as there's some kind of belief that there's some kind of value in it, that happiness or salvation comes in it, we're going to be really miserable and still pretending like it's great. It's like that old coat that we had in the closet that doesn't fit, or shoes that we think are so wonderful. Like when you were a kid, you didn't want to wear them up. You just wanted to wear them every day because they were comfortable, but you outgrew them and they hurt like heck. Women tend to do that. You just love that pair of high heels, and boy, you take your, it's like you don't admit how much it really hurts. And that's almost has for some. Some are wiser and they'll just go, wait. Others of us had to choose, kept choosing that tightness, pretending like salvation could be found in that old pair of shoes. Wasting time in vain imaginings. I'm willing to see all of them. Today I come to you. I will step back and merely follow you. Oh, feel any tension on that? Is there any tension? And we hear those words. When I hear those words, I'm putting that over in the light of divine being. It's almost like the ego goes like this, braces. I will step back and merely follow you. What's it? Could be just me. But I've heard other people talk about it too. Follow you. What? Nobody wants to take a back seat. You know, everybody wants to be in control. Control of hell is what we want to be control. So we'll just look deeply. Any low energies that come up, any resistance, they're just energetic movements here. Energetic movements change the lights here anyway. It's like, Jesus, show me any desire that it's not my full 100% happiness and bliss to just step back and follow you. As people have said, crawl into the back seat and Jesus take the wheel in the front and just and handle everything. Sometimes it feels like steps for that. I just asked Jesus, can we turn over the whole Monty? He says, why not? Why not now? That's his whole point. We're adorable. He loves us, doesn't he? Be you the guide and I the follower who questions not the wisdom of the infinite. That's what we're doing all day long, is question. We can ask in the light of divine being, if we're not perfectly happy, does that mean we are questioning the wisdom of the infinite? Okay. A little puppy. He knows. Dogs know how satsang works. They're going to be cats. They come across. Animals know. Animals don't question the infinite as much as we do. Look how happy dogs generally are. So happy. They're not questioning, who am I? Anybody who has a dog knows that. Look at Is it worth it? Is it valuable, really, to question the wisdom of the infinite, even though we do it? Does it make any sense to question the light? What's happening? Is it, when we really look as light of divine being, having questions about it, is that? Yet Jesus understands, like, that's kind of the turning in toward the light is the humility to ask the light's wisdom. So rather than question, what the hell are you doing up there? Which doubt our divinity, we're being taught by infinite light. Being taught by the part of ourselves that remembers that there are questions that cause upset and upheaval below the level, upheaval that are made to question identity, question who am I, to generate unhappiness. Belief in thought is questioning identity. That thoughts are real. That's questioning our identity. So he's saying, following, and then asking with true willingness to see it. Then those questions, the questions focus on truth. Questions that focus on divine being. What am I, Jesus? I'm willing to see that. Those questions that question the questioner. That a questioner that questions identity, who we are, is more powerful than infinite light. We're starting to question that one. And be taught by the wisdom of the infinite light within. And I, the follower, who questions not the wisdom of the infinite, nor love whose tenderness I cannot comprehend, Jesus. In the light of divine being, do we not comprehend love at all? That's a good question, and hear the answer. We have no comprehensible what love is. Now let's ask the question, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness not to comprehend love? What love is, what's most natural to me? And I'm willing to put that desire not to comprehend love, see? To just start completely fresh, as though I don't know what it is, and have the light reveal that to me. Stay with as infinite light, and then it reveals itself. It blooms because it's invited in. It's no longer take out the swords to try to duke it out, to play shadow puppets. We invite you in, Father, whose tenderness I can't understand, comprehend. Let's ask, in the light of divine being, is light tender? Is light anything other than tender? But which is yet your perfect gift to me? Let's ask, in the light of divine being, is the wisdom of the infinite a perfect gift to me? In our direct experience as light beings. Today we have one guide to lead us on. And as we walk together, we will give this day to him with no reserve at all. Jesus, will you show me any desire to have reserve? Any desire for experience of like holding back, tension, that I would not walk side by side with the voice. See, it's just inviting. That's why it walks side by side. Jesus didn't come into Helen and say, I have abject power over you. He says, I walk with you. This is his day. And so it is a day of countless gifts and mercy unto us. In the light of divine being, is the light of divine being merciful? We have to let go of any ideas we have about what mercy looks like. I'm asking Jesus, is speed merciful in awakening? Yes. So we can't judge what that looks like. It might look like all kinds of things moving. But it's merciful because we've called and we no longer want a timeline. So we really have to be in trust. Trust that because you have called me to you, that everything is given in this world for you to recognize and celebrate infinite light of being. And that this is the only purpose that this world has. And to do my work and my calling for you in this world, which is to be the light, infinite light of being, and no other function. and to bring my words into this world. And beyond this world, actually, we have a function that's so far beyond this world that we've forgotten. In the light of divine being and honesty of God and our direct experience, do we have a function that's so far beyond this world? Yet we would be satisfied with a function in a world, a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. Yes, the spirit can use all of that, but let's just see clearly. In the light of divine being and honesty, can we be really, is that our true function? Any of those roles? He has a function for us of celestial order, of the celestial. We can ask that in the light of divine being, Father, do you have a function for me of celestial order? And hear the answer. Now that's stepping into function. Celestial order. So when he says you're carried by angels, you're flanked. We'll feel them. In the light of divine being, ask, am I flanked by angels? And hear the answer. Is it possible to escape angels? Ask that question. Is it possible to go anywhere without being flanked by angels? No. Is it possible to go anywhere without Jesus? And hear the answer, the Christ. No. Try it in a bunch of places in your mind. Try to hide in there and see if Jesus, that fragment. Remember, he says every fragment. I love that. Boy, my mind is latched onto that one. Every fragment carries the thought of God. Every fragment carries a course lesson with it. If there is no escape from God, from supreme happiness. There's, well, yes, in the light of divine being, is it possible to escape supreme happiness, no matter how hard we try? So it must be a desired experience other way to play in untrue. So maybe it feels better after all just to let Jesus drive. Someone said, drive the dream bus. We're transcending a dream. We're transcending the idea that there is a dream. We have celestial function. He's being direct about that now. Direct delivery. Here it comes. So we must be taught of our function, because we did such a good job of pretending like we don't know what it is. So we're going to start from the ground up with zero. No idea what celestial functioning is. No idea what infinite light is. And certainly not a clue that anything having to do with thought-based identity exists. That feels like a really good thing for it to just forget. Let's just ask, Jesus, do we have to remember that an ego exists? And hear the answer from the light. Do we need thought to get around? See the answer from the light? No. Okay, I'm willing to good with that. How much suffering comes from believing in thought? All of it. Basically. It's very humbling, aren't these sessions? But they're happily humbling. So we join the sheeple, they call them sheeple. This is the real sheeple. The one in which the one who knows leads everything. And then we just follow him wherever he may go. So we can all start singing with the angels and actually hear the angels. But That it won't be a voice we can hear. It may appear like that. They can appear like that in consciousness. That they carry divine power of silence, actually. And they're very helpful for keeping the bike upright, and we're wearing our little training wheels for God. That's the true position. Little children. The only position worth having. Being led. And no longer fight the leadership where it belongs, the one who leads. We can just ask in the light of divine being, is all suffering not following the Father, who knows our perfect happiness? I give my life to God to guide today. Jesus, please show me any denials of this lesson throughout the day, that I may give them over to you. For my true desire is to give my life to God. Amen. Love from San Juan Cosola to Holy Mighties. We go together, you and I.